Wendy. We're from Living Lēla. So today our topic is sitting in the space of uncertainty and the idea of learning to move through the fear. So what triggers fear? Anytime we think we're in some kind of threat or danger, and certainly when you're on the fertility journey, there's often a lot of fear that comes up, and fear that comes up in waves, right? Sometimes you're feeling more hopeful, and other times you're feeling like, what if this never happens? So your emotions are going all over the place. And it's not just fear when you're on the fertility journey, of course, but it's definitely one of the big ones. So that's why we wanted to talk about it today. All right, so I also wanted to talk to you a little bit about the idea of fear from more of the Eastern perspective, which relates to the first chakra. So the first chakra is your root chakra. It's at the base of your spine. And it's about the lesson of my right to be here and then also to have. So issues like safety and trust and trusting in abundance are all first chakra things. And the block, or the demon, they call it, of the first chakra is fear. So if we don't do a good job of kind of balancing out our first chakra, then all the rest of the chakras are going to be out of alignment. So it's an important one for us to work on. Think about the metaphors we kind of have when we're feeling ungrounded, when we're feeling fearful, right? We say things like, I feel like the rug's been pulled out from under me, or I'm feeling weak in the knees. So we're going to show you a couple of things that actually help you with that idea of feeling grounded. So yeah, that's kind of just the quick, skinny and intro into fear. I have a lot more that I could talk to you about fear. The one thing I will say today, though, is that fear triggers your fight or flight response typically. And so when that happens, a lot of physiological changes happen, including blood flowing away from the reproductive organs. And so that's why it's so important to learn to identify when you're feeling this emotion and change it so that you're getting the body to be more in that relaxation response and into what we call rest and digest and reproduce, right, which is your relaxation response. So again, that's a quick intro into all of that. You'll learn more about that if you keep watching our work.
Yeah.
But that's all I'm going to say about it today.
So there are different ways to ground, and this idea of like the rug being pulled out from under you, or kind of feeling like you're not feeling your feet on the earth, like you feel like, and so one of the ways we really love is to literally take your shoes off and go stand on Mother Earth, go stand in the grass, or go stand in the sand or the soil, or just be out in nature. There's something really powerful about that, and so that would be one of my first suggestions, actually. But we also recognize that that's not always completely accessible or easy to do. So today, I wanted to show you a really easy kind of breath work exercise that you could do literally anywhere. Even in your office, you could just close the door, take off your shoes, and just take a moment to do this. You could literally do it anywhere except in your car. That would be kind of, no, not happening. It's called grounding breath, and it's part of our Breathe to Conceive series that's in our bigger program, which we'll tell you about in a moment. But I'm going to use Deborah as my model today, and so she's going to take a moment to stand. Cool. So she's starting to take a wider stance, and once we kind of get into the exercise itself, in yoga, this particular stance, once we bend our knees, is called goddess pose or horse stance. And so what she's doing, I'm not sure how much you can see, but hopefully you can see that her toes are turned slightly out, heels in. You don't have to turn so far out you feel like you're losing your balance. This isn't ballet class. But she's going to take a moment just to kind of test if she has her stance wide enough by bending her knees to a place of comfort. So again, we don't have to go to the most deep kind of squat, but you want to make sure that if when you're bending your knees are not going past your ankles, and this is just to keep your knees safe. And so if that's happening, you can widen your stance like Deborah just did, or you don't have to bend so deep. So you're going to decide. The other thing you want to start to feel into are your feet. So being barefoot is going to be optimal here, and take a moment to just lift all 10 toes without kind of losing your balance and feel into the 4 wheels or 4 points of each foot. So you have 8 wheels total. And so when we lift our toes, we start to really feel the articulation of the wheels, but we're also kind of feeling the vibrancy of energy that starts to move up through the legs. And then keeping that sensation of the wheels of your feet, go ahead and relax your toes. Begin to notice your breath and invite your conscious breathing in. And I'm going to have Deborah just come to a standing position so that she feels comfortable, so that her legs aren't killing her. And for all of us, let's just take a full breath in and a full breath out. And if you practice Ujjayi pranayama, that's the breath with subtle sound, it sounds like ocean wave or wind in the trees, then you can begin that. But some kind of conscious breathing in and out through your nose. And then begin by placing your thumbs at your navel with your index fingers touching, and just start to feel your breath moving down into your belly. So really bringing your attention down into that lower elixir field, which is the second chakra, even though we're going to kind of be working on first. As Deborah mentioned, they're all related and affect one another. So taking a couple of breaths here, just feeling that your belly can expand and soften when you take the breath in, and then as you exhale, there's a gentle gathering back toward your spine. Shoulders remain soft, and then begin to open up your palms, almost like you're holding a ball of energy or a sphere, like the moon, something that's really like energetic in that way. And so the hands are kind of softly placed, and begin to softly bend your knees. Start to feel that you're lengthening from your inner groins to your inner knees, and that the energy is wrapping back towards your outer hips. And on your next inhale, begin to slowly straighten your legs as you draw your hands, this energy, up towards the heart. And then once you reach the heart, you're going to flip the palms down and start to softly bend your knees again to any degree, and feel that you're literally like grounding the energy down, not just with your hands, but with your legs, with your feet. And then inhale, gathering the energy back up. So you're just moving on the rhythm of your breath. As you start to inhale and feel the legs start to straighten, that's happening from pushing down into your feet, literally rooting down. If you could visualize or imagine that your feet could bust down into Mother Earth and start to root like the roots of a tree. Take a couple more rounds here. You're also building heat with the movement in the legs, working the legs. And if you're practicing with Ujjayi breath, you're also building heat that way. And Ujjayi breath, or any conscious breathing, is also very grounding when we can really feel our breath and feel what that physiologically does to our nervous system. And this is the last one. She's grounding down. And then just allow your hands to kind of open, start to slowly straighten the legs. You can turn your toes to face forward, and then carefully heel toe or step your feet toward hip width. Nicely done. Yeah. So pretty simple, but it really does feel pretty darn good and energetic. It's so interesting. And I forgot to mention that this particular grounding breath is drawing in elements of Qigong. So this is like the ancient Chinese healing art. We kind of think of it as like the Chinese version of yoga in a way. So it's to move energy. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's, you know, as you practice and you're becoming more aware, you're probably going to actually start to feel energy in your palms, like that you're moving something, not just, I mean, that air feels thicker.
Yeah, it's weird. It's almost like it's palpable or tangible, even though it's not. It's almost like you feel the heat or the warmth. It's so interesting with energy stuff. Mm-hmm. So that is one of our grounding tools, and it's something that we wanted to share with you to help you to release fear. Hence the name of the topic today, which is sitting in the space of uncertainty, just ways that we can begin to move through fear, which happens to be the name of our very first module that's within our comprehensive online program, which is launching at the end of this month. And we're going to be doing a free webinar presentation a week from today on June 16th if you want to learn more about our program and some other tools that you can work in for your fertility journey. So it's going to be on Saturday, June 16th at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And that webinar is called Taking Control of Your Fertility Journey Using Natural, Ancient, and Comprehensive Mind-Body Tools. And you can find ways to sign up for that on several different places. On our Facebook page here where you are right now, which is at Living Lēla. On our Instagram page in the bio of the link, which is at living_Lēla, or just on our website, livinglēla.com, and it's right there on the front page. You can't miss it. So we are so thrilled that you joined us today, and if you have any other questions that pop up or anything you want to share, we'd love to hear from you. So you can contact us in any of the ways that I've mentioned through social media, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
And just remember, before we sign off, emotions are temporary, right? So ultimately I want you to not be afraid of your fear, your sadness, your anger, whatever emotion is. Know that it's temporary. Know that you can work through it. Know that it's here to give you data. So embrace the lesson rather than run away from it.
Oh, thank you for adding that. No, it's so true. Thank you so much. That's such an important piece.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Namaste.
Namaste.